listen up, y'all. It's the Queen of Automation, Megan Donnelly, here to give you inspiration. Founders and business owners gather round. I'ma show you how to build systems that'll astound. Streamline your processes, no need.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Queen of Automation podcast, where we talk about why technology is only good when it works. Today we're getting geeky and techy with the owner and founder of the Wizard of Odd Marketing, the legendary Luke Matthews, who I consider to be the GOAT of LinkedIn. He will appreciate that because we both have a love for Tom Brady. We won't go into that. So, hey, tell everybody where you're tuning in from. I think most of the people that are going to be watching this know where you are in the world today, but let's just jump in and say hello and tell us where you are right now.
I'm in Tom Brady's backyard, hanging out, I wish. No, I'm in Paraguay in South America. I've been here almost a year now, actually, believe it or not, off and on, and originally from Canada. So from West Coast, Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah, it was super funny. The other day I was thinking about this episode and knowing that we were going to jump on and chit chat. And I was like, wow, I've been talking to Luke for over a year because we started having conversations on LinkedIn before you moved. And we just started kind of, like when you look back through all of like the DMs and the conversations, and then it was because you were moving before we started working together, like because there was this whole flux of, well, we can't do it yet because I'm in this process of like moving my entire life.
It was a lot.
It was funny. I didn't even realize it had been that long. It's kind of amazing how it just, when you meet somebody that you can just talk to and have like natural, normal, like networking conversations with, it just, like the time flies, right? Like it's just ridiculous. So we're gonna start with an icebreaker, which I think is funny. I normally start with this icebreaker, but the reason it's gonna be so fun to do this with you is because we have two totally opposing views on this situation. And right now, the whole quote unquote work-life balance on LinkedIn is just this huge conversation with this huge topic, where I am somebody who I don't necessarily believe in work-life balance. I think it's all just life. It's all life. And you pick and choose how you spend your life. If you want to spend your life working 7 days a week, 365 days a year, do that. If you want to work 2 days out of the week and take the rest of the week, like do that. Like it's all based on what you choose in your life and like how you want to live your life. And I think that that is a very contrarian view to like how people consider it, because there's still so many people that consider like business is over here, personal is over here, and it's just not that way. Like your business world and your personal world it's all one thing. So I would love to have you jump in and give your thoughts on that, because sometimes we're totally opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to that. Because I know you are a hustle man.
I am. Yeah, I'm not really into the box in any part of life either. So I think I don't like it when things get compartmentalized. And I pretty much live to work, and I always have. I guess for me, I find purpose in work. So whatever the work is, for a long time, it was actually ministry work. So I was in ministry in my early 20s. I considered that work. So that was all day for me, all the time. And then in construction was the same because I ran my own business, and I'm someone that has never really gone and gotten professional training. I've always just taught myself and found my own way and started my own thing. So I think my context is heavily tinted, because when you do that, no one's going to give you anything. You have to fight for everything. And when you have to fight for everything, no one's going to give it to you. And my competitive advantage is my hustle and my work. And so for me, it's always just been, I'll outwork you. I'll work more than you. And it's just became who I am. Will that change in the future? Maybe I'll get bored and I'll try something different, like become a monk in Tibet. But I'll still consider that work. So to me, work and life is the same.
You have been talking about the monk thing in Tibet for like 8 months. I just have a feeling that eventually it's just going to be poof, and you're going to be gone, and you're going to show up. You're going to have a bald head in like one of the robes, and that'll be like your new selfie on LinkedIn, and you'll start doing
the Easter egg.
That's
It's the
gonna be
Easter egg. You're
awesome.
like, oh, that's why he left. He said he thought about it for 2 years.
That'll be so funny. It's
Yeah,
gonna happen eventually,
of
and
course it will.
maybe you won't even become a monk. You'll just do it for a month, just so that you can have the content to put out to the
Yeah.
world.
Hey, I
That's
would do that.
hilarious.
People do that. But no,
I
that's how
mean,
I see work-life balance. It's more just, I guess, what do you enjoy? I enjoy building stuff and working.
yeah,
So to me, I'm bored when I don't work. It's simple. I've tried it. I had a dream to get to Bali when I was younger and sit on a beach and do nothing. And I achieved my dream, and a week into it, I was bored out of my
you
mind.
were.
Yeah, I was so bored. And so I know, like, maybe most people just never reach their dream. So in their mind, they have their weekend and their time off. And
Yeah.
I think if they reach their dream of retirement, they'd realize how boring it is, and maybe they'd love work more. That's my biased opinion.
I think that's one of the things that we do agree on is that I don't believe in weekends either, which is so weird to say, right? Like, because I have kids, right? So I have a lot of kids. I have three teenage boys, and it's like my whole goal is to just they're my priority, right? So when I was in corporate, I never saw my kids. I mean, I worked like 75 hours a week, and I missed every single one of my kids' sports games, and it was just awful. It was horrible, and it was just never there. And so my goal is them first, business second, right? So it's always like
Yeah.
I work when I want to work. My weekends are when I want them to be. It doesn't have to be Saturday and
See, I
Sunday.
like
Like
that.
this is a Saturday. We were working, right? It is, I fit my work around my life, which is what I think most people are missing out on. And honestly, by doing that, business has become more successful because I'm not like focused on, oh, I have to sell something right now. I have to sell, I have to sell, I have to sell, I have to sell. I'm focused on what's better for my kids and how can I
Makes
then
sense.
fit the rest of making money around it. You said something that I guess I never knew. I knew you had worked in construction. I didn't realize it was your own business. So you've been like an entrepreneur pretty much your entire life. Because as I
Yeah.
was listening and you go through all of that, you've run your own thing almost consistently by building different versions of things, right?
Yeah, either an entrepreneur or a contractor, but it was still, even in contracting, like if you don't show up, you don't get paid, right? I've never really been an employee. So you yeah, if you're doing glass work or drywall, yeah, I'm sick today. Well, no one's paying for you to stay home, so you show up anyways.
Fast forward to today. Let's talk about today because
Let's talk about
I
today.
mean, you're just like crazy blowing up with this AI stuff, which is super cool. But let's talk about, I guess it was, yeah, like we said, like 8 months to a year ago when you and I
hmm
started talking. Do you tell people why? Why did we start talking, Luke? What were you doing? I know why, but I want you to say it.
I think it was Travis Lackner's fault. Who's an old friend of mine from LinkedIn. Shout out Travis. You should start posting again. Um,
Yeah.
Travis, I think you were talking to Travis, and maybe I saw you comment on one of his posts.
Yeah.
And then I checked out your stuff, and I was like, "What? I've done automation stuff before. I had someone that I really like set up automation for me years ago, and actually, they had been bugging me about doing what you did, making it all condensed. But at the time, I was cheap, and I was like, I don't want to pay for this, so it's good enough for me. I can figure it out. Again, I'm a DIY guy. As long as it's close, I can figure out everything, and I'll waste the time to do it. So I'd known for a while, like, hey, if I'm going to start selling a course or making my agency easier for me, I need automation because I don't like people. So if you don't like people, you need automation. Like that's just how it is. If you like people and automation, great. Well, then you can build a bigger company. But if you don't love people and you need automation, you need it to work, right? So this works for everybody. So I knew like, hey, I need to fix some of this stuff. And then we just started talking and kind of realized like, hey, you could help me with some of this stuff. And I'd never heard of Go High Level or some of the all-in-one tools that you presented me. And I just thought, you know what, maybe this will make my job a little bit easier and I can do a little bit less of the stuff that I hate. And then in the long term, save me some money because I knew I was going to start going crazy with automations, and Zapier is what I've been using, and Airtable and Asana and all this stuff. And I was just wasting too much time. So
Yeah, and I have to tell everybody, so I am an Airtable nerd. Like I love Airtable. I love
still
it
love it.
because of its because of the customization. And he still uses Airtable for some of it. But the big issue was when he first came to me, when we first started talking, he had like 17 different pieces of software. And I was like, what, how are, like, what are you doing? Like, how are,
I still
well,
do
I spend about 5 hours a day. And I was like, what? And I was just blown away. And I was like, so this kind of mentor of mine on LinkedIn, I was like, oh, see, you never know what's happening behind the scenes. And most people, I'm so happy that you agreed to come on and talk about it, because most people don't talk about it. And you're, I think, the reason that you're so awesome for me on LinkedIn is because you're not afraid to like show the good, the bad, the ugly. And like when you make a mistake, you tell people and that's just,
Yep.
It's just unheard of. Like people are so afraid to like tell people when they make a mistake and own it. And I think the other thing that's been really great about working with you and helping you is that you are more hands-on. Most of the people that I work with they just want us to, put it all together for them, whatever, and turn it over. So it's been like a blessing and a curse, because you're usually in there behind me and you're like, wait, I think I broke it. And so I'm like fixing but it's been super fun. And
Yeah.
there are multiple things now. For everyone's knowledge, this is still a work in progress, because there's a big learning curve when you go from individualized piece of software, like an email tool, a project management tool, a this tool, a that tool. When you have those tools and they're specialized for their own thing, and you go into an all-in-one tool is fantastic. It saves you time. It certainly saves you money, but nothing is going to be 100%, right? So when you have like MailChimp is made for email, right? Like it does email really freaking well. All of the other things it's not really going to do really well. Constant Contact does email really well. All the other things it's kind of do marginally. So it was a big, like, he's like, okay, let's just do it. Let's try it. And so it's definitely still a learning curve. And there are things about the system that we are kind of fitting into his world. And he still has other software. Like he still uses Beehive for his newsletter. He's still using Airtable for the actual like content management from a writer's standpoint, because it's really good for writing. Like it's just a really good tool for writing, because you can set it up how you want it to set up. And he still has Notion. So it's not that you go to an all-in-one tool and you just forget everything else that you love. It's it's what can we eliminate so that you're not paying $700 a month for tools that you're not really using effectively. So that was a big one. And now we've got the course. The course is going to be cool. You can talk about that, pimp that out for a while. I can't wait. I've been watching selfishly behind the scenes because I can see.
I'm getting there.
I'm like, oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. And it's you guys are going to love that. That's awesome. And all of the AI tools that are built in now too. I'm hoping that I don't use them as much. So I am, again, selfishly waiting for Luke to like geek out on in this Go High Level. I'm super, I want him to geek out on the AI tools so he can tell me how to use them, because I don't use them very well. I know I probably don't use them like I should, because I've never needed to. But now that I have the AI master, you can teach me how to use the AI tools.
I'll go waste hours figuring them out. You know that. Got to put those hours somewhere. No, like I think I like that you made that point, because I think for me the hardest part about it always was I like everything to be the absolute best, and so like to me an all-in-one tool isn't, in my mind, still isn't that. But what it is, it saves you time, saves you energy, and it puts it all in one place and allows you to ship where you need to ship. And so I think it's everything in life sacrifice. So, I was sacrificing extra time to have every single feature that I wanted, versus now maybe there's a couple features that I've asked Go High Level to fix, and hopefully they do, because they're very good at that. But it's super close to being there, right? Like, and the automation example, like people don't know with Zapier, like the more crazy you go, the zaps are super expensive, versus Go High Level, it's built in there. And even I could understand it. I got in there and I built some workflow for my AI course, which was super cool and easy to use. Like I said, there you can actually host courses in Go High Level. There's also a little community thing. Is it as good as Circle? No, not yet. But it's very close and usable for most people, right? So I think because all of it's in one place, you can also start setting up those triggers and automations and landing pages and things where Now I can manage it all in one place versus before it's all over the place. Now the actual delivery of the content, you'll even see it, you'll probably be annoyed. Some of my course material is still on Notion. So I still have a whole Notion doc that I'll include with my course that's hosted on Go High Level, but I've made it work now where all the automations and the payments and the upsells and all the stuff that you want is on Go High Level, but some of the information is still hosted somewhere else. So I think the cool thing about it is you can kind of make it work for who you are. I'm very customizable. I instantly went and found more tools to pay for as soon as I saved my money here.
I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Stop it.
I just love tools. That's me. But like even with my course, and then we'll get back to it, I realized like most people are not that way. Like I actually changed my course, which is going to teach people how to write with AI, to all paid tools. And I had a stack of 3 paid tools for $50 a month. And I quickly realized like, wait a minute, people aren't going to want to pay this. No one likes to pay for tools. I do, but I forget that people don't. And so I cut that and I switched it to free AI tools. So I am learning. I'm getting there.
That's where you're the exception to the rule, though. That's why I was, like I said, that's why I was so excited to work with you, because you and I are very similar, right? Like I build technology for a living. So we're not going to talk about how many tools I have, right? It's just, but I'm also very bespoke, right? So like for my larger like actual businesses, like local service businesses and stuff like that, we pick software and build software that works for them. And what a lot of people don't realize is that there's not like a cookie cutter like piece of software that you can put in place for every single business out there. Now we chose Go High Level for Luke specifically because it's customizable. Now, 2 years ago, if you'd come to me and asked me, I would have set you up with 5 different pieces of software because I never believed in an all-in-one system. And it's because, again, niche products like email products, those softwares are built specifically for that. So they do that thing really well. But the problem is you lose so much time and you're adding more data points. So you hit the nail on the head. Zapier is awesome for small businesses when you start out. When you start to grow beyond 10,000 users on your email list and you have a database of 10,000 people or more, it's really expensive, and it gets really expensive really quickly. And by using Zapier to kind of like staple things together, you're adding more data points to track. Yeah. So now you have to track this data point that's connected to this, to this, to this, to this. So if you're actually somebody who is into tracking and measuring everything, which you all should be, especially if you're at the Luke Matthews level, like you should know where your customers are at all times, and you should be up. Anyway, whatever. It's really hard to start tracking when you have 17 different pieces of software and you're trying to figure out where people are coming and going. So at the heart of it, Go High Level is a CRM. Right. And a CRM, that's exactly what it is. It's customer relationship management. Every business should have one. And they're not super expensive. Like you can start out super cheap. You can build your own custom CRM and Airtable if you want for free. Right. But again, as things get bigger and you don't have a developer on staff, it's going to get more complicated, which is why we were going to start with Airtable. We were going to go that route. But with some of the Airtable is so customizable and so development heavy that you would need to have an ops person like on your team. Luke doesn't want to have a team. He wants to be a one-man show, right? Like, and that's got to
make your choices, right?
So, yeah. I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens with the course. We're going to do this again, by the way, too. So everybody, you're going to this is the before, like work in progress. We're building this out. It's going to be great. And then we're going to come back in a few months after the course is launched, and we're doing all of that stuff, and it's going to be awesome.
Build in public.
And by the way, anybody who works with me, and Luke can attest to this, if at any point in your life you decide to work with me, you get me you pay me any amount of money, and I will answer whatever question you have. I will jump in and fix all of your stuff for you. That's just how I roll.
You're great at that.
And I don't expect you to pay way more money to do it. I'm just letting everybody know that, because that's just the business I'm in. And I feel like that's kind of one of the reasons that we're kindred spirits that way because Luke answers all of my questions. Not gonna lie, he's been helping me out with LinkedIn stuff, and he just answers everything for me. Answers all my questions, and I do the same. And it's anybody
great,
who
isn't it?
wants a good networking partnership, you need to go out and find somebody like that is willing to just be there no matter what.
It's helpful. A lot of people have attitude, so we're just more like, hey, you want to get something? I need to get something done. Can you help me? Yes or no. If no, then point me to a tutorial. That's how I work too. It's, it's speed, and that's what I like about, again, why I'm more of a Lone Ranger with this
Or
stuff.
Loom videos. Loom videos are awesome.
Loom is amazing. I love Loom.
I created him a bunch of Loom videos, which so he could always and most of the stuff is anything that I know that he's going to have to go back and repeat, right? So we create Loom videos and we throw them up there. And usually I have them created before he even. He's like,
you already know what I'm going to ask. Yeah.
They're so easy.
That affiliate manager I need to make. I need a Loom video of that. It's such an easy thing to do, though. You just go click a button. I went and looked, and like, I shouldn't have asked for that.
Or do it. Why people don't use Loom for their SOPs, I just don't understand that. It's so easy, and you can just do it while you're working. Like if you're working on a project, hit the button, and then.
True. And Loom AI gives you like subtitles and stuff within your Loom, so it's super easy to find.
You know what I started doing, which I guess I didn't realize, or I knew I could do it, but I just didn't think about it. So now if I'm working on like in a client's project, when I will just turn the Loom video on and like record as I'm like building something or creating something, and then I'll go back and add a voiceover later.
That's smart. Yeah, you can do that.
I was like, what? It was just funny. It was like, oh, that's cool. And I knew I could do it, but I just never even thought about it. Like when I promised people I'll make them an SOP video for, for something. And if I don't know, it works out really well. Well, we are at time, so I don't want to like make this too long, and I don't want to take up too much of your Saturday. I know we don't do weekends, but I know what you work on Saturdays. I won't let anybody
deep
else
work
know.
Saturdays.
It's content day, people. Tell everybody about the course.
Yeah, so I'm dropping my course on May 14th to my email list first. Funny enough, not even the email list. It's the waiting list that is on Go High Level. Because Go High Level let me segment my list, which is pretty awesome. Anyways, so it's dropping on May 14th. And it's going to teach you how to write with AI and the basics of LinkedIn. So I did create this course so that anybody could use it at any skill level. So obviously people that are more skilled with LinkedIn will just skip the LinkedIn chapters and get right into how to write with AI. I've featured 2 tools that will be free, so you won't need any paid tools for the first 90 days to use my course, which is great. And I'm going to walk through fully how to save a bunch of time using AI. So that'll be for individuals and teams. You learn how to make carousels and images and everything that you need to win on LinkedIn. It's going to be written for idiots, so don't worry if you don't understand AI at all. It's written so like my mom can understand it, and my mom doesn't log into the internet or social media and doesn't know AI. So I wrote it like so anyone can use it. So dropping on the 14th. Follow me. I'll be yelling about it everywhere if you're curious to know more.
He's already yelling about it everywhere, in case you haven't. And if you don't follow him, go follow him on LinkedIn. You're going to learn something if you follow his content, and you're going to laugh. I mean, he's just funny. He's just a funny guy, and he totally breaks the mold of LinkedIn, which is why I was so comfortable having a conversation with him, because it's just not the same. It's not like a rigid like LinkedIn relationship, which I feel like so many people are afraid of LinkedIn because they feel like they need to fit into this little box. Well, I'm telling you right now, neither Luke or I fit into that box because we're sarcastic. We talk about things we shouldn't be talking about, and that's just the way it is. And you can either
like
us
being on
or
a
not
Facebook
like us,
or an
follow us,
Instagram.
don't follow us, whatever, but that's the goal.
Definitely. I said it's more like being on Facebook or Instagram.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, that's great. Well, thanks, Luke. This is awesome. I'm very, very excited, and I can't wait to see where we take GHL, which is Go High Level, guys, and the course. And so 2 months, right? We said 2 months because the 15th. Yeah, 2 months.
months
He'll
should
be
be
back
enough.
on here, and he's going to talk about the loves, the hates, the goods, the bads, all the things, operations, and
The nitty gritty.
it's all going to be perfect. It's all going to be perfect. 100%
Yeah.
perfect. I bet. No.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see.
Bye, Luke. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for having me
tuning
on.
in, and we will see you next time.